What's going on YouTube? My name is Yaz and welcome to this video. When it comes to video games, we all want someone we can rely on and perhaps even learn to love. Today, I'm going to share with you my top 10 video game companions. So without further ado, let's go!
10.
Starting at number 10, Dead to Rights. It's true that a dog is a man's best friend, but this game takes it to a whole new level. In this game, Jack Slade is a police officer partnered with his K9 unit Shadow. The two patrol the Grand City, a metropolis seamlessly populated with more criminals than honest citizens. One night, while on a routine patrol, Jack responds to a call at a construction zone, only to find his own father murdered. In pursuit of his father's killer, Jack is led through a labyrinth of crime and corruption. The player learns to love his K9 companion, and for that reason, this game made it to my top 10.
9.
Number 9, Shadow of the Colossus. In this magical place, you play the Wanderer, a young man in search for answers to resurrect a girl named Mono. Little is known about Mono, other than she was a maiden who was somehow sacrificed because she was believed to have a cursed destiny. The young man owns a horse named Agro, but as you play the game, you really don't see this creature as just a horse to get you around town. You see it as a real companion, and even a friend. Later in the game, we see a cutscene where Agro falls from great heights into a lake. This scene made me scream.
8.
Number 8, Jak and Daxter. Jak and Daxter is set in a fictional universe. The first game takes place in a world brimming with various natural environments and ancient precursor ruins that can be found dotted throughout the landscape. Daxter is Jack's sidekick and is often found getting into trouble. He rescues Jack at the beginning of Jak 2 and becomes playable immediately for the first time in the series. Throughout the game, you often find yourself laughing at the silly things that come out of Daxter and really begin to connect with him. Thanks to Daxter, you don't need to travel alone.
Everyone, cross your fingers.
7.
Dropping down to number 7, The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. The events of Ocarina of Time are set in a fictional kingdom of Hyrule, the setting of most of Legend of Zelda games. Hyrule Field serves as a central hub connected to several outlying areas with diverse topography. The fairy Navi awakens Link from a nightmare in which he witnesses a man in black armor pursuing a young girl on horseback. Navi brings Link to the Great Deku Tree, who is cursed and near death. From the beginning of the journey to the end of the journey, Navi is always willing to help even when you don't want her around. And this is why she deserves to be on my top 10.
6.
Number 6, Kingdom Hearts. The series starts with Kingdom Hearts showing how a 14-year-old boy named Sora is separated from his friends, Riku and Kairi, when their world, Destiny Island, is invaded by creatures known as the Heartless. During the invasion, Sora obtains a weapon called the Keyblade that allows him to fight Heartless. He soon arrives in another world, Traverse Town, where he meets Donald Duck and Goofy, two emissaries from Disney Castle sent by King Mickey to find the wielder of the Keyblade. The three band together and travel to different Disney-themed worlds, sealing the hearts of the worlds to prevent more Heartless invasions and to find Riku and Kairi. Along the way, the player forges a special bond with these characters, a bond that will always remain in the light.
5.
Number 5, BioShock Infinite. BioShock Infinite is set in 1912 and takes place in a fictional steampunk city-state called Columbia. The player controls protagonist Booker DeWitt. Faced with mounting gambling debts, he is sent to Columbia to rescue Elizabeth, a young woman imprisoned there since childhood. As you go through the game, you start feeling things for Elizabeth. You start to really like her as a person, and well, then you find out she's your daughter. Damn. Oh well, it's the interactions we had with her that made her number 5 on my list.
4,
Closing in on number 4, Dragon Age 2. Set in the mythical world of Thedas, Dragon Age 2 tells the story of Hawk. Within the span of a decade, Hawk would rise in power and influence to become the legendary champion of Kirkwall, and the center of events that changed the course of Thedas. The story unfolds through flashbacks from the perspective of Varric, one of Hawk's companions who relates the champion's true story to Cassandra, his interrogator. This game allows you to romance with your followers and get to know them as who they really are. I found myself really connecting with the characters and actually caring for them. Great job, BioWare. We want more like this one.
3,
Number 3, The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead is a graphic adventure played from a third-person perspective with a variety of cinematic camera angles. As protagonist Lee Everett works with a ragtag group of survivors to stay alive in the midst of a zombie apocalypse.
I reckon you didn't do it.
The player can examine and interact with characters and items, and must make use of the inventory items and the environment. Throughout the game, the player is presented with the ability to interact with their surroundings and options to determine the nature of that interaction.
you've been all by yourself.
The player also gets a chance to interact with Clementine, a little girl you save at the start of the game. Lee becomes a father figure to her, and you feel that way too. The creators did an extraordinary job at making me care for this little girl, as if she was my own. For this reason, The Walking Dead Season 1 made it to my list. Number 2, Uncharted. In the Uncharted series, you get to work very close with Sully, a longtime partner of Nathan Drake and a treasure hunter as well. Sullivan has mentored Drake for some time and is a father figure to him, but the game does an amazing job at making you see it that way as well. The more you interact with Sully, the more you care for him. There's nothing like hunting treasures with your dad, right? Finalizing with number 1, The Last of
I need
Us.
to remind you what is out there.
The Last of Us is a post-apocalyptic action-adventure survival horror game that is viewed from a third-person perspective. Players traverse post-apocalyptic environments, moving through locations such as towns, buildings, and sewers to advance through the game's story. The leader of the Fireflies, Marlene, promises to double their stolen cash in return for smuggling a teenage girl named Ellie to Fireflies hiding in the Boston Capitol building outside of the quarantine. But what the players don't expect is that by the end of the job, you'll do anything to keep Ellie around. With groundbreaking game twist, you'll discover that Ellie is immune to the virus that has everyone running, and this makes her very valuable. By the end of the game though, we've already fallen for her as a daughter figure. Naughty Dog did an amazing job with the character development for this companion, and for that reason, she made my number 1 spot on the list. If you think you have a really great video game companion, write it down in the comments. And like always, if you like this video, hit like. And if you want more, hit subscribe. Until then, I'll see you on the next one.